All right, so everybody, I'm here with Charles Kirkland, a marketing funnel automation partnership coaching program client. And first of all, welcome, Charles. Thanks for taking time out to hop on here with me and share your success from the program.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Cool, man. So I know that you are you're like a traffic wizard. You and I have talked before privately, obviously through the entire marketing funnel automation partnership coaching program. You've been around the internet marketing game for a long time, achieved a lot of different things in a lot of different areas of internet marketing. You've obviously purchased a lot of products, courses. You've invested a lot in your education. And so the first thing that I really just want to know from you, or really just want to hear from you, is what motivated you to enroll in the MFA program?
I'm going to be honest with you. I watched the first webinar, and I was actually mad at you on the first webinar because I wanted you to sell me something. I was like, you were explaining this, and I'm like, I want to buy, and there was like nothing. I was like, man, dude, I wish you would sell something. And the second webinar, I missed almost the complete webinar. I got like the last half of it, actually probably the last 3/4 of it. Your offer was so incredibly good, and I am very jaded when it comes to buying any kind of product. Your offer was so good, I'm sitting here salivating, going, when is the buy button coming? Where's the buy button? Where's the buy button? And it made me realize if you could create an offer that was so tempting to me that I wanted to buy it, I had a serious desire to want this program, that if you could even impart a tenth of that into me, I'd be able to make some money from it. And I really, when I got it, I saw, okay, this guy knows his stuff. He knows how to build offers. He knows how to do everything right to make the sale. Because, as marketers, even as consumers, we're all jaded to begin with. We're probably as jaded as anybody. So, I've seen tons of products out there, and I'm like, no, not really worth it, not really worth it. And I saw your product. I was really prepared to spend it. I figured it was going to be about $10,000. I was really prepared to spend it. I figured it was going to be about $10,000. And I was figuring, okay, if it's $10,000, I'll put it on the credit card. We'll put it on the Amex. I explained to my wife I just spent $10,000. It won't be a big deal. But I was like, totally, dude, I was ready to buy it just because your offer, and I saw the potential. Because I saw if I took a product, followed the steps you were outlining that you were going to go over for the 8 weeks, it would be like, unless I didn't have a pulse, I would have to make money from it.
Yeah, cool. And so what was ultimately, what were you looking to get from the program? Like, what were the main things that you were ultimately looking to walk away with after, the 8 weeks together?
Really, at the end of the 8 weeks, I was looking for, and your product covers a lot of different things, a lot of, you go step by step from A to Z. Really, I wanted to look at how to put together a high-converting webinar, high-converting sales funnel, high-converting product. And to be honest with you, we all think we can do that. I went around since 1999 telling people I can do that. That's not difficult. And when you realize that if it's that easy, everybody could do it. And when I went through your program, my goal was to come out with something that I could take immediately within a week or two and hit the ground running and make money with.
Cool. I know you sent me the email the other day, which is just, awesome. We're going to talk about the results that you got kind of right out of the gate, but I would love to just hear generally, and I know you shared and gave, just awesome feedback throughout the whole program. Almost, every time we hopped on the phone for the Q&A calls and whatnot, and the group consultations. But so, what was your honest impression of the program? How do you feel it delivered? Do you feel what's your whole feeling about the program itself?
I can tell you it delivered beyond Todd, if I would have done a tenth of what I actually did as far as the money taken in, it would have still been, a massive success for the time that we put in there. The time that I put in there, to me, I really feel it was beyond, it's hard to describe an emotional feeling like that. I can just tell you it was an unbelievable success. Had you charged $20,000 up front, it would have been a no-brainer. Had you charged, if you would have said, Charles, $50,000, I'll do you a webinar, that would have been a value for what I got out of that. I mean, you didn't do the webinar. You gave me the power to get the webinar or get the story and get the concept out of me, so to speak.
Yeah,
very
cool.
And Todd, I mean, I know somebody's going to be listening to this going, man, this sounds hokey. And I know that's going to be a concept, something somebody says. But, I mean, it really, even at the end of the day, I can just tell you it sharpened my marketing chops beyond. I thought they were good before. It took them to a totally different level.
Very cool, very cool. Now, and we're gonna talk about, you know, I want to get to in just a minute the like your first funnel, you know, your first swing at the bat, so to speak, since completing the MFA program. But before we do, I just want you to quickly mention or talk about the experience that you had from one of the modules with the tweak to your landing page, the tweak to your squeeze page. You know, we got on the phone for one of the Q&As, I think it was, or maybe one of the group consults. Part of the whole program is obviously me giving, you know, feedback as if I was your partner right alongside of you. I gave you some suggestions for, I think it was even just like what to tweak on the headline, and why don't you share what the results were, what the experience was that you had when you went back, made those changes, tested it, tracked it, and then, because I remember you shot me an email with a graphic, and it was pretty awesome to see that. So just share a little bit about that.
Okay, we run just massive amounts of traffic every day for lots of conceivable offers. But one of my favorite products, which maybe isn't my biggest moneymaker, but still one of my favorite products, we were running about a 50% opt-in rate on average, just 50%. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It depends on the source of traffic. On this, and I'll be honest with you, I was somewhat jaded. I'm like, there's no way, I mean, I run just a stupid amount of traffic. There's no way anybody's going to ever help me get a better converting squeeze page. It's just not going to happen. And we were on the call, and you made a comment about something. And I'm like, okay, you actually told me, you know, I would try this. And I took it, and I revamped it, put it on the squeeze page. Bought traffic. I can't remember if I bought traffic. I don't remember what day I bought the traffic. I think we talked about it on a Wednesday. I bought traffic, I think, maybe that Thursday or Friday. I bought that traffic Friday. We talked about it Wednesday. I bought traffic that Friday. And I checked the stats, and I was freaking out. I think it was like 70.23 or 70.2. I'm not looking at them directly in front of me, but basically you gave me a 30% boost to my opt-in page, which is insane, which is unheard of. I've already taken this opt-in page. I've already put it to everybody I knew and said, hey, can you help me make it better? I've taken it. I mean, this thing was battle tested. I didn't necessarily think you could make it better. I was actually convinced it couldn't be better. I was convinced I knew what I was talking about, and you made a comment. And the big thing is to take action. When somebody tells you to do something, you really shouldn't be questioning it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. I did it, and I freaked out big time. I mean, this was not like the new thing. This is just a very basic squeeze page, and you really kind of did a little tweak, or you helped us do the tweak. Actually, I'm going to be blunt. You really helped me do it. Pretty much you probably did it, and I just typed it up. But Todd, I can't stress to you what a 30% increase on my squeeze page will do, because now that transfers completely through that particular product funnel.
Right.
So
in some cases, I mean, what's cool about that, you know, it's just awesome to see that. It's awesome to see, you know, the kind of the results of taking, you know, just one tip. I mean, and obviously throughout the 8 weeks, throughout the MFA program, we were on the phone for hours between the group consults every week, the Q&As every week, and so it was just cool to see how just one kind of little suggestion, one kind of piece of advice translated to such a significant bump in leads. And you're talking about a huge volume of traffic, and so ultimately at the end of the day, you know, in 2 months from now, in 4 months from now, 6 months from now, odds are that's gonna translate into a nice chunk of additional change for you that you might not have seen if it wasn't for that one tweak. And so it's just cool to see that. Now just for time purposes, let's kind of fast forward for a second. And now, you know, so we just finished up the MFA program, I think just a couple of weeks ago, and so you shot me an email, which was kind of funny. It was kind of cool because you sent me this email and you said, hey, you know, I think on your webinar, teaching people or telling people how to create a $50,000 a month marketing funnel is a little bit low. And then you went on to share the results that you had kind of right out of the gate with your first test of using everything that you learned in the MFA program. And so just talk a little bit about what were those results? How much money did you make, and kind of like what was that? What happened for you?
Okay. Now this is where it gets really interesting. I took everything you said. I learned from it. I, incorporated it. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't do. A lot of people overthink it and try to make it more complicated. I just really did what you said. I mean, Todd, hands down, I didn't think about it. I didn't overthink about it. Todd said do X, Y, and Z. Charles is going to do X, Y, Z. The worst, just think about this. The worst case it could do, the worst it would do is, the worst it could do, potentially cannot make any money. That is the worst case. But, so we ramped up I started mailing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We had a webinar starting at 9 p.m. on Thursday. I meant to send you an invite to it, but the webinar lasted 4 hours. 2.5 hours where I didn't get into the pitch. We had 270-something people on the webinar when it started. When I got ready to pitch, we were still at 220, 2.5 hours into a webinar.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I took, you made a comment, and I think, Todd, I'm going to be honest with you, you don't really know how much value you gave to me. I don't think you realize the golden nuggets you dropped and what you told me. And one of the things I did, I wanted to kind of get all the golden nuggets from you before I actually implemented it. But on the webinar, I actually just told the story, and I've got some help from you, got some help from Rich has helped me in the past, and I've got some help from Dagan. I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of different things. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Todd, I didn't overthink it. I just did it. And you helped me put together the offer, the bonus, just in the conversation. When I got off the webinar at midnight, we were pushing almost $30,000 in sales.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, just sitting there freaking out going, actually, no, let me take that back. It was right at, it wasn't exactly 30, it was getting close, and I wish I had that exact number in front of me. But I screwed up. This is where I screwed up. The only thing they could do was make a full pay with MasterCard or Visa for $497. I didn't have a TwoPay, didn't have a PayPal. That was like the only choice you really got. So here it is, Friday night. I recorded it in GoToWebinar, which is a very difficult thing to translate into video, if that makes sense. So I had to encode and render the video out all day Friday, get it cleaned up, put it in Camtasia, make it I basically cut it down to 2.5 hours. I uploaded the video Friday evening, late Friday evening, started pushing traffic to it again from the list. And it didn't do, I think I made 2 sales Friday. I went, man, maybe I did something wrong. But granted, $30,000 is a good day to have by any stretch of imagination. Come Saturday, I realized, okay, Todd had mentioned about the length of the video. So I cut off part of the video now. It was an hour and a half. I just cut out a lot of the core content of the pre-sale, so to speak. Cut it down to an hour and a half, mailed Saturday, getting some action. And I remember you actually made a comment, so I took the video again and cut it down to nothing. There was a 32-minute video of nothing, but this is what you're going to get when you join this program. Mailed that on Sunday. It closed at Monday at noon. By Monday at noon, we've taken in $42,397. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We have about $9,325 coming in next month as part of the rebuild. So the $42,000 is what we took into pocket right now, cash in hand or in PayPal, existing in PayPal, with another $9,000 plus coming next month in the 2-part payments. Now, I could say, well, who cares if you make the second payment, and there will probably be somebody who can't make it, PayPal rebuilds fail, whatever the case may be. But to sit there and think from Thursday at midnight, actually Thursday starting at 9 to Monday at noon, to have brought in $42,000 plus cash in hand. The little bit of money I paid you, it makes, for what you gave me. I mean, we're not talking 10 to 1. We're talking crazy, insane return on investment. What makes it cool is I did this with just my list. There was no JVs, no affiliates, no nothing, no paid traffic to it. I just did it with my list to see would they even have an interest in this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations on that. First and foremost, that really is a feat that not many online entrepreneurs have ever experienced, and unfortunately will ever experience. And the cool thing about it is that you took what it is that you learned in the MFA program and you applied it to basically to a one-time webinar, not even a full-blown marketing funnel, and not leveraging any external source of traffic, any JV partners or anything, turned it into, $40,000 plus, maybe potentially at the end of this, $50,000. And so, not a bad couple of days of work, to say the least. And so again, man, just congratulations with that. And so just two more questions for you, and then I know you're a busy man, and so I'll let you get back to making more money. How is the MFA program, how do you foresee the MFA program, what you learned, what you got from it, your whole experience for that 2 months, changing your business going forward, changing the impact that you have going forward, but changing your income going forward? I mean, what do you foresee for yourself now since finishing the MFA program?
It's kind of weird. I mean, I've always made money by brute force traffic. I was really not good at the conversions. And Todd, through the entire call, I was like, I can't do this. I'm struggling. I don't know how to do this. I can't write copy. I mean, I was like, really just kind of nervous about it to begin with. Because I am not a copywriter, and I was terrified, like, oh gosh, I have to be like a great copywriter, or I have to go hire a copywriter, and I didn't do any of that. I said, I'm just going to do what Todd said, you outlined what to do, and I just did it. I honestly think, and I don't want this to seem like weird, I really think in 12 months I could probably pull in around $2 million from just being able to apply what I know to everything else, because we really have a spillover effect we haven't even talked about. Like how I write emails, how I write landing pages, squeeze pages, how I do CPA offers, how I do any offers. It's really making me totally rethink how I promote products in general.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I'll give an example. I really think, and this is we've got 2 more webinars coming up. This particular product is closed now for 8 weeks. I'm not going to take anybody else until we go through our existing group of students. And we're going to be doing 2 more webinars in the next month. I really think applying what I've learned here, which is radically different from everything I knew up to this point, for the most part. And it's really, I really think we could easily, and who knows, we may not do $2 million, but I think it would have an impact of $2 million in at least in 24 months. I definitely think I could do it in 12 months, because the cool thing about this side is all we've done is like in-house lists. I recently had all my lists closed down except for one by AWeber. I lost approximately 180,000 people. AWeber decided that they didn't really need my business anymore. Long story on that, but they just didn't. So I did all this with a very small list inside of Office Autopilot.
That's great, man. Like I said, again, congratulations, because I think it's just it's an awesome accomplishment. If you achieve the $2 million in the next 12 months, which I have no doubt that you personally can, that's a tremendous feat. If it's $1 million of additional money in the next 12 months, $25,000 a week, $100,000 a month. That's an awesome accomplishment. And so just again, man, kudos. And so just the final thing that I'd love to hear you share with everybody is that, so if somebody's listening to this and they're debating on whether the marketing funnel automation partnership program is right for them, is worth the investment, is worth the time, is what they should go through now? If they're on the fence, what would you say to those people?
Get off the fence. I'm gonna be blatantly honest with this, and I hope it's not offensive to anybody. I am probably one of the most jaded people you'll ever meet. I'm just truly jaded, especially when it comes to marketing stuff, because everybody makes a promise. Everybody has the biggest promise in the world that they can help you do whatever you want to do. Todd's offer was totally different. It really was very different from anything I've ever went through. The content is like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, simply nothing. I mean, it is different. I mean, I don't even think the name is appropriate. It should be just like, how to get a brand new lifestyle and retire type life. I mean, the reality of it is, don't let money stop you. I mean, if you're going to say, Todd, I have no clue what you're going to charge for this. I really don't. If you need to put it on 2 credit cards, if you need to call Todd, email him and say, hey, build credit card today, build another one tomorrow, build another one. Let me come rake your leaves, wash your lawn, and fertilize your flowers. Whatever it takes, you need to get this program. I mean, for me, if you would have told me one webinar would have brought in this kind of money, I wouldn't have believed you that I would have put together, if that makes sense. We've done other webinars in the past that have been like this, but they weren't my webinar. They were professionally written webinars that were just like really high-end stuff. And I mean, we did this selling a $497 product. I mean, think about that. I'm just some dude in South Carolina who just says, hey, let me put together a webinar and use what Todd applied to it. If you're on the fence about it, get it. This product to me has been a game changer. I have bought plenty of products in the past. I've spent a bunch of money on education. Nothing, even from a return on investment, nothing has ever been this fast. Nothing has ever been this fast. I mean, what I've learned here will be applied for the rest of my life. I mean, I've already got people coming to me going, hey, could you help me do a webinar? How did you do that? People are not actually believing the numbers until I show the numbers. Because most people, using their own house list, and I have a very small list to begin with since everything's been shut down. I mean, the list that bought was insignificantly small and totally laughable by most standards. But to walk away with that kind of money from a small in-house list, no JVs, no affiliates, no partners, is insane.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. It's a huge, it really is just awesome. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you for hopping on the phone with me. I know, again, you're crazy busy, and so I don't want to keep you. But like I said, man, I just want to congratulate you and thank you for taking the time to share your experience with everybody.
No, I think it should be the other way around, dude. I need to thank you. I mean, if it wouldn't have been for Todd Brown and this entire funnel mastermind kick-ass product, there's no way I would have been able to do this. I would have done a webinar and said, hey, I made $1,000, made $2,000. I wouldn't be walking away with $42,397. I mean, actually, the numbers were not really exactly right because, when we hadn't even looked at taking out some of the other stuff. We're just looking at what they bought. I didn't have an upsell. Some of the people who bought upsell wanted coaching as well. I mean, so this number is not even inclusive in any of those things. That's just like the rough general number that we've done.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing this again, hopping on the phone with you again in 6 months and hearing about everything that has happened between now and then, man. So looking forward to it.
It's been insane. I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you so much. Todd, I can't stress to you how much this has really made an impact on my life. I've got a lot of products. I've bought a lot of programs. I have never had anything that has such an immediate effect on my income as this. It's crazy. It's simply crazy.
Well, awesome. I think that's a perfect way to end our conversation. And so there you go, everybody. Charles Kirkland.
It's certainly gotten so much better in the last 2 weeks. It's amazing. It's going to be a classic before and after. You talk about a case study. This will be a good one just on the opt-in page
I don't
alone.
doubt it. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Todd.
Hey, hats off to you again on Module 2. I'm just on your first part. It was so good. played it again. You are blowing me away with all this. I appreciate it.
First of all, I just want to say how much I appreciate your help through all of this. You are absolutely amazing, and I just love it that you're taking us step by step through this, because this is exactly what I need.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much indeed for this education. It's priceless.
I'm going to be honest with you, this is the best product I've ever bought. I mean, best course, best coaching, best everything. It is just stellar. Thank you so much.
I've been buying IM programs and stuff for 14 years. This is the best, buddy.
Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
It's brilliant, Todd. I tell you, I've worked with a lot of people. You know, I've been an angel investor for 20 years. I've taken 4 companies public, and I've paid consultants $5,000 or $10,000 a month and not got 1/10 the value that I get from Todd. So we're getting the bargain of the friggin' century with Todd. So we're getting a hell of a value with you. I'll tell you that. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what value we're all getting, guys.